This movie kind of reminds me of a film that just came out last month. A family member dies and siblings have to reunite together and they have tension with each other. Yep. The Judge is directed by David Dobkin, the same guy who made Wedding Crashers, and now this year he made The Judge. And it's about this lawyer, played by Robert Downey Jr., and his mother passed away. So he has to go and meet his estranged father, played by Robert Duvall, who is a judge, and their relationship is not the best. They fight, they bicker, so there's a lot of tension between the two. Then suddenly, the judge is accused of murder, so Robert Downey Jr. is in court defending his father. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have a parent where you have tension between them, but at the same time you want to be there for them? It kind of relates to me and other people, and that is something that I like in movies. Let me give you a clear example. Boyhood. Boyhood is a movie about childhood and growing up. Then you think about your childhood and say, oh yeah, no, those were the days. Now, while I was watching The Judge, I sorta had that feeling, but maybe not entirely. Now, this movie is okay. It's not going to be an Oscar-winning movie, but it's okay. Both actors did fine in the film, and you believe that they are father and son. I mean, not everybody gets along with their parents, so I find their relationship realistic. Yes, they do have some calm moments and good moments a couple of times, and Robert Downey Jr. really tries to defend his father because of a crime he may have committed. Some of the court scenes were good. It wasn't like other court scenes where people are yelling across the room. It was okay. There were two court scenes in this movie that really got my attention because they were really intense. Now, I find this film to be pretty sad at times too, because not only the father is in court, but also, this isn't a spoiler, he has this cancer in him, which means his life is on the line. So there are just some scenes that you just feel sorry for him. Kind of reminds me of Gran Torino and yeah, pretty much. There was one scene where the father was just lying on the bathroom floor, struggling, and his son has to help him. And it's pretty disturbing and gross. Don't worry, I won't tell you the rest. But it shows the reality when it comes to old age and sickness. Kind of like Angels in America, where it shows the reality of AIDS. So it's quite sad. Now, one of my complaints about this film is the length. Now, last week I was watching Gone Girl, which was 2 hours and a half. But that film really got my attention. But in this film, I just feel like that there were extra scenes and characters that didn't need to be there. So therefore, you feel like that things are just dragging on. One example was that there was one scene where Robert Downey Jr. was arguing with his wife, and she never comes back in the film ever again. He also have a daughter too, and there are like 2 or 3 scenes that just didn't need to be there. And then you got a bunch of other scenes and yeah, that's pretty much it. But overall, the movie is worth watching. The scenes with the father and son are interesting at times. The film is not great as I want it to be, but it's watchable. I'm giving this movie 6 gavels out of 10. Not guilty. So that is my views about The Judge. Thank you for watching. More reviews on the way.
You and I are finally done.
Oh, we're not done.